You know the drill by now, this is for adult collectors. This is your warning. Hey guys, I'm Woody, and welcome back to Gijoe June. Last week we discussed the top 10 wish list. Now it's time to discuss the lesser figures in this line. Don't get me wrong, the G.I. Joe line is really good, but not every line is perfect and there are some stumbles. So, with that said, here are my top 5 picks. And trust me, this was really hard to decide as there are so many good figures in this line. So, sit back and let's try to get through this as best we can, shall we? Honorable mentions. The original release Roadblock. As I stated in my top 10 video, the Amazon exclusive one was better compared to this. This is me touching up on it. Now, the figure itself, not too bad, he looks good, but that vest really does hinder a lot of movement. It makes him a bit more chonky instead of muscular. His laser LMG, whatever that thing is supposed to be, just does not look great at all. And on my copy, there's a mold line on his cheek that should not be there, and it really brings down this figure. Plus, that wee little knife that comes with him, it looks so pathetic next to him. Like, in his hand, it's like, what is that? Is that a pocket knife? It's supposed to be a combat knife. Come on, man. Just, this figure, it's okay, but the Amazon one is better. Cobra Island Firefly. A really good first attempt at bringing Firefly to the classified line, but there are some hiccups. The legs mostly, especially at the hinge system at the crotch, it can be very loose, which can lead to him falling really easily. The shoulder pad, the big one on his right, it gets in the way. I'm always terrified that I'm gonna rip it just by posing the arm out. And while the EOD vest on him was a good idea, the rest of his body does not complement it. It doesn't work well. But that aside, it is a good first attempt, but that new one they're putting out blows it out of the water. So, yeah. Number 5. Scarlet. Now, this was a really good attempt at modernizing Scarlet, and I do love this figure. However, there are some parts that really annoy me. First off, you can't have all the knives on her, as the one across her chest will limit articulation, as the arm will always hit it and I feel like it's gonna rip. The single jointed elbows really get in the way of posing. I wish it was double jointed. And her crossbow. My copy constantly likes to fall apart. I mean, if you breathe on it wrong, it will fall apart. I mean, I'm tempted to glue it together, but I'd rather it be able to fall apart and be put back together okay than to glue it and it permanently breaks and then, oh no, I have to buy a new one. But still, there's room for improvement. If they release a new version of her down the line and it looks great, I'll definitely pick it up. But for now, we gotta deal with her limitations. Number 4. Zartan. Now, this is a really good figure too, don't get me wrong, there's plenty to love about it, but at the same time, there's plenty that drives me nuts on this. First off, that hood of his, anytime I want to pose his head, it just can fall clean off. There's nothing really pegging it into position. I would have preferred like something that would have kept it there, and then we have the option to unpeg it. Aside from that, you have that snake head and monkey's paw that's on his belt. Those like to pop off really easy. Anytime I pose it, they pop off and I'm like, oh god, did I just lose a piece? Great, I'm gonna have to hunt down another one. His knife in the sheath, it really does hinder articulation as the hand will keep hitting it. There's just so much potential with this figure, but there are some shortcomings with it. Not bad overall, but just some things that personally irk me. Number 3. Barbecue. Now I'm including the normal one and the new Marauders one because they are essentially the same figure, just repainted. So here we go. My problem with it stems mostly from the accessories. That extinguisher tank on his back, I do not like it. It looks good and fits him, but I do not like that peg being so high up. I feel like anytime I plug it in, I'm about to snap it off, and it drives me nuts. The tube that connects to his extinguisher gun, you can't put the gun in the holster without the tube jutting out to the side. I mean, that doesn't look good. It looks fine when it's in hand, but still, it drives me nuts. The axes, while really good, don't holster in well. They keep pegging out of their little holster things, so that always drives me nuts. Aside from that, I think he's really cool. I do wish we got an unmasked head sculpt though, just for variety's sake. Number 2. Baroness and Coil Cycle. This was a really good idea for a set, but the problems lie with Baroness herself. Not in the looks department. She looks like Baroness. You take one look at her and you just think, that's Baroness. That's an updated Baroness. I like the gold accessories. What I don't like is her articulation, especially how her single jointed arms get in the way because of its sculpt. Like, you can't do the full 90 because of how the arm guards are sculpted. She can't stand up properly. She constantly keeps falling forward. I've had to use sticky tack just to keep her standing upright. You can't really do dynamic poses with her. She is so hindered. I really hope they do another classic style Baroness with updated articulation. Like, give us double jointed arms, seriously. And fix the gosh darn feet. And the number 1 worst Joe is, oh come on, you guys knew this one was coming, Falcon. And oh boy, do I have some things to say about this guy. I mean, you know what? Screw it. He's getting his own review. Not to leave you guys blue-balled, but that's the best way I can say my feelings about this figure. So tune in next week where I give you the review of Lieutenant Falcon. Oh, God help me. And that's my top 5 worst G.I. Joes. What did you guys think? Are there some you agree with? Or are there some you disagree with? Let me know in the comments down below. And while you're there, hit that like button and click that subscribe button. If you want to actually be notified, then take aim at that bell icon to be notified. If you want to see more from me, follow me on Instagram for my photography and Twitter for updates. Links to both in the description below. And I believe that's it. This is Woody, signing off. Yo, Joe!